Brook of thumb. This is still green to all the brothers and sisters scattered across the four corners, teaching his word with sincerity and charity. I had some technical difficulties, man. My slides just vanished at the last second, man. I was putting some let me send some of this stuff to myself so I make it insert it into this class real fast. But I was man, I was finishing the slide, man, just trying to put some little extra stuff in there, just trying to put some visuals in there. And man, everything just collapsed, man, and it's like there's no way that I could there's no way that I can get back, man. It's just no way. Let me try it one more time. Hold on, let me make sure everybody can get in here first. Oh man, that ain't what I'm supposed to be doing. But yeah, just like it's no way I can get those slides back, so we just gonna have to let me try to just go by my memory. I have a few notes here, but it's not really notes. It's really just some scriptures down here. But you know, I got a good grip on the lesson. So, and it's a simple lesson. Like we shouldn't be here long today. It wasn't nothing but 8 slides. Shalom, sis. It wasn't nothing but 8 slides. So, you know, I just gotta redo it again another time, write them slides down. But you know, sometimes you know how that thing go, man. You know, you get into a mode and you be like, nah, I ain't doing that over. And go through that. So let me see if I could let me try one more thing here with these slides. Restore this version? No. File detail, document details. No. Modified 12 by me and I killed it. So yeah, I killed that. But like I said, let me get in here. Let these brothers in.
Shalom.
Shalom, brother.
Hey,
Shalom,
shalom,
shalom.
shalom. Yahweh Shem Hazabakatah.
Yabashimashpata.
Yeah, that's what I'm about to tell.
So I'm just finna email some of the visuals. We need maybe a few of these visuals. And then we'll go ahead and crank up. I don't know if y'all heard me in the beginning, man. I was wrapping this thing up, man, and you know, just putting the title slide up, man. They end up losing all the slides, man. End up deleting all the slides.
Wow.
Dang.
So yeah, that was very frustrating, but we gonna get through it. We are going to get through it. So right now I'm just emailing myself some of the pictures and stuff from that. Just really just need this map. Just need this map that I had. And we should be able to get through this thing. Man, I think I saved the map on my iPad. Oh man. How y'all brothers been doing?
Ooh, schlocky. I'm good, man.
Alright, so man, we can go ahead and crank up. Let me get this real quick. Bap.
Oh, Shalakia, man. I had it on mute, man. Hey, Shalom, brother, man. Doing pretty good. How about yourself, brother?
Doing well. You feeling any better?
Yeah, it
Them
tried to hit
past
me
few.
again this morning, man. But I'm keep fighting in the spirit, brother. Keep
God.
fighting in the spirit, brother.
You got that COVID? That's what you? What's going on with you, Eliezer?
Man, hey, boy, don't you put that stuff on me. Don't you throw that stuff on me, boy. Nah, brother. Is that I have been doing some work in the freezer, man, and been coming in and out the freezer into that humidity, man. For some reason, the changing of the temperature got me. I caught a little fever, but it been breaking though. It been breaking.
Con.
Like we can't even have cold these days.
Nah,
We
Joker,
can't have a
Joker, we want to get away from you.
yeah, man. You can't have a cold. You can't have a fever. You can't have nothing, man. It's COVID, brother. You got COVID. Yeah.
All right, man. So like I say, I did write down some notes, but I only wrote them for the slides. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't really title them, but I know where we need to go. And so first off, who are the Kenites? That's pretty much what we dealing with today, man. Just who are the Kenites? Um, and we'll start with just understanding. Well, hold on one second. Let me get back. Uh, let me get back. Brother in the stream. Shalom, brother.
Hey, shalom, family.
Hey, shalom, brother. Y'all about Shema Sabakata. What's going on, brother Michael?
I'm all right. How's everybody?
Good. Shalom, huh?
Hey, like they say in the Christian church, all is well, brother. All is well.
That's right. That's right.
So what we first want to understand is we'll start with Jethro. When we're understanding who the Kenites are, we'll have to start with we don't have to, but it's best to start with understanding Jethro, Moses' father-in-law. All right, Moses' father-in-law. And he had 3 different names. All right, he had 3 different, they called him 3 different names. They called him Jethro, they called him Habab, and they called him Reuel. Can somebody put that link in there in the chat?
Yeah, kind.
And so he had 3 different names. Don't let these things trip you up dealing with chronology and things like that nature when you're going through these things. You know, Israel didn't have a lot of names, so and all these names had meaning.
Things like that nature.
And all these things had different meanings. And so when you doing these going through these genealogies, you may see multiple names, but it'll be different people in different dispensations and so forth. All right, so we'll see 3 of his names here. Let's look at Exodus 2:18.
It's the book of Exodus, chapter 2, and verse 18. And when they came to Reuel, their father, he said, how is it that ye are come so soon today? And they said, an Egyptian delivered us out of the land of the shepherds, and also drew water enough for us, and watered the flock.
Hold on 1 second. Now I might need you to start up a little more. What I said, Exodus 2.
Con.
Yeah,
Exodus
Con 2 and
2,
18.
2 and 18. And it came real, their father. Now I need you to start up. Start up at 11. Shalaki.
Con. This is Exodus chapter 2 and verse 11.
And you're gonna read to chapter 3 and verse 1.
Con. This is Exodus 2 and 11. And it came to pass in those days when Moses was grown that he went out unto his brethren and looked on their burdens. And he spied Shilaki, and he spied an Egyptian smiting an Hebrew, one of his brethren. And he looked this way and that way, and when he saw that there was no man, he slew the Egyptian and hid him in the sand. And when he went out the second day, behold, two men of the Hebrews strove together. And he said to him that did the wrong, wherefore smitest thou thy fellow? And he said, who made thee a prince and a judge over us? Intendest thou to kill me, as thou killest the Egyptians? And Moses feared and said, surely this thing is known. Now when Pharaoh heard this thing, he sought to slay Moses. But Moses fled from the face of Pharaoh and dwelt in the land of Midian. And he sat down by a well. Now the priest of Midian had 7 daughters, and they came and drew water, and filled the troughs to water their father's flock. And the shepherds came and drove them away. But Moses stood up and helped them and watered their flock.
Shalakia. So again, we see the characteristics of Moses. Still, he when he left Egypt, he went into Midian. The text tells you there was a priest in Midian. There's a priest that has 7 daughters. Moses is sitting down by the well, by the dwelling place, all right, trying to relax, gather himself. He know people gonna have to come to this well. This like the 5 points of biblical days. Like them wells, you have to be by them. You have to come to them wells. If you traveling, you're gonna have to eventually stop by. These wells are very important. Water sources are very important. So people are gonna be there. So he chilling by the well. And then these 7 daughters come up, and the people at the other people at the well start giving the daughters problems, and ran them off. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not finna feed your flock. You breaking all these animals and stuff, you're not finna feed your flock. Moses steps in and pushes those people out. We see Moses stepping in again, risking his life again, pushing those people out so that those seven daughters can come in and those 7 daughters can come in and water their flock. So now they're coming back home, and their father Jethro, which means that in Hebrew means God's friend. All right, that in Hebrew means God's friend. Jethro comes back. Jethro's asking him, man, how you not came back so early? All right, because he knows how long it takes for them to come back from that drawing that water. Just being women, or usually it was women who went out there and did it, but he knows it takes them a certain amount of time to do that. This is why you always see folks, when they was looking for wives, they'll find them at the well. I got a whole lesson on the well, meeting at the dwelling place, meeting at the water, to find that mate, to find that rib, or find your Lord. But we see even Yahushua meeting the Samaritan woman sitting by the well. But yeah, I just wanted to get that context. Go ahead, Op.
Verse 18. And when they came to Raoul their father, he said, how is it that ye are come so soon today? And they said, an Egyptian delivered us out of the hand of the shepherds,
They
and
said a
also
what?
an Egyptian
They said
drew
the
us.
Egyptian drew us out, right? Cause he fresh out of Egypt. He still got Egypt on. He said Egyptian got us up out of there. Come on.
An Egyptian delivered us out of the hand of the shepherds, and also drew water enough for us, and watered the flock. And he said unto his daughters, And where is he? Why is it that ye have left the man? Call him, that he may eat bread. And Moses was content to dwell with the man.
Wait a
And he
minute
gave
now.
Moses,
Look what he say. Like, man, why you left that man out there? Invite that man over to dinner, man, so he can break bread. Y'all like, hey, man, you saved us 6, 7 hours, man. Man, you should have invited that man over. He done ran these folks off. Break bread with that brother, man. Go ahead, up.
21. And Moses was content to dwell with the man, and he gave Moses Zipporah, his daughter.
That's how simple it was back then. That's how simple it was back then. You know, you help out, you got good characteristics, so forth. You know, hey man, you know. But Jethro knows a little bit now. We gonna see that, man. That Jethro knows he knows a little bit, and we understand that he is a priest. He's a priest of Median. Go ahead, Shalaki.
22. And she bare him a son, and he called his name Gershom. For he said, I have been a stranger in the strange land. And it came to pass in process of time that the king of Egypt died, and the children of Israel sighed by reason of the bondage. And they cried, and their cry came up unto God by reason of the bondage. And God heard their groaning, and God remembered his covenant with Abraham, with Isaac, and with Jacob. And God looked upon the children of Israel, and God had respect unto them.
God, so the Most High, and look at the context of the respect unto them, because this really kind of trips us up a little bit. We use this precept sometimes. Where we use it in defense of God is not a respecter of persons, and then we'll say, well, did God did respect? He looked on to the people and he respected them. But this is the people that are crying out. They're in bondage, and God looks down on these people. And is the context, and God looked down and said, man, I respect them people. I respect them for crying and moaning. Is that the context there? Like, it is God heard their moaning and groaning and remembered his covenant with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and looked upon the children of Israel, and God had respect unto them. Is that the respect how we use it today? You know what I'm saying? To have respect for someone.
God. I think it's all of it. When you see the story, the whole story goes into from verse 2. Chapter 2, verse 1. It goes into to Moses after he had slew the Egyptian for his brother, and then it went to the process of the children of Israel crying out to him. I think it's all of it, not some of it. You see what I'm saying? That's the end of the verse, but but at the same time, I think about. Let me go a little farther up. Let me go. I think I want to go to Slovakia. King of Israel cited for a reason of all right. So you go to verse 23, and it says, and it came to pass in a process of time, the king of Egypt died, and the children of Israel sighed by reason of the bondage and cried, and their cries came up unto God by reason of the bondage. So even he said in our captivity, if we bethink ourselves that he gonna have that same respect unto us. You know what I mean? So they was in a bondage. They was in a process of being trying to be delivered from the hands of Pharaoh, and they cried out to God, and God had respect unto them. And I think that's kind of a universal doctrine, not so much of because this particular time they was in bondage. Because the second time when Christ comes, he gonna do the same thing that Moses did, and he gonna have He gonna take Israel and have respect upon them upon all other nations. And I yield.
What I'm kind of dealing with is just the word respect
Right,
on just the meaning of respect. Like he
right,
says, when someone says, "I have respect," when he's saying, "I have respect unto you,"
right.
um, what is that? What is the respect? What does that mean? What does the respect mean?
Yeah.
It might be pity. It might be pity in some instances. Like I feel sorry for this group. They're going through it.
Well, he's saying, "I remembered," and that's a good point. He's saying, "I remembered the covenant that I had
Right,
with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob,"
right.
and it's yeah, like a, I wouldn't say pity, but I would say like a reverence, or
Favor.
or I wouldn't say favor, because that's all he did. He dealing with, he remembering his covenant that he made with these people,
Right.
and he's seeing them crying out. He's seeing them going through something. Um, and when you see somebody doing that, it's just like you see somebody get ran over, and or you mess around and run. One time I ran over a cat.
Mm-hmm.
I heard the bones crunch and everything.
Mm,
I said, "Oh man!" And so I
mm.
got out the car and I had respect unto him. Now, how are we? And that's how I see it kind of being used. That context being used. Now, what are we saying? Respect is in that reference is that I considered. I had to step out of the car and actually check on this individual, check on this cat, to see if I had killed him, or not. But I had that pulled up and had the Hebrew and so forth. But it means to know. It means to know or to perceive in Hebrew, that word for respect. So he perceived, or to know, to understand, and to get us, eventually, what I'm saying, he had that remorse and got us up out of that, what I'm saying, because of that promise that he made. But y'all can look into that. I may do another little short lesson on it, but that is used to, when we do use it a lot of times, we use it with that precept with, or we use it to combat the precept where it says God is not a
Respect of a
respecter of,
person.
right. And then we'll come here to combat that verse, and then we will leave it there. And so at that point, if we leave it there and we say, that's not right, because God had respect unto Israel. If we leave it there, then we have two verses that are contrary to each other, and then both people leave without truly understanding what happened there. You know what I'm saying? When we evaluate that, so we had to just go back and
Hey, Shalaki.
go ahead out.
It's like, all right, for an example, because you use the respect of running over cat, but just say two people fighting, all right? Two people fighting,
Right,
and one person is getting get the best over the other person, and you jump
right,
in and you help that person that's losing. Well, you just have respect to that person, right?
right, right,
So,
right,
and the reason why I said it kind of use it's kind of broad because what he did to the Egyptians after the fact. When he said God had respect to them, so what did that take for God to bring them out of bondage? He put a curse on them nations. He put a curse on the Egyptians. You know what I mean? So that's why I say it's kind of broad. But because remember when you go into Genesis 12:3, it say bless them that bless thee, but what? Curse them that curse thee, right? So anybody that had the children of Israel into bondage dealt with a great plague.
con, con, and you hit it home. You kind of you that was a perfect example. That was a much better example when you see somebody. But and that was my point. We don't use respect in that manner. We wouldn't say that. We wouldn't. But that's how it's defined here in the text with the context that's going on. But in our modern language, uh, if we seen two people fighting, we jumped in, we wouldn't say, hey man, I had respect. That was, or somebody may say, I respect you for that. I respect you because you did that. But no, we wouldn't really use it as a, hey man, I had respect. You showed respect unto that person. You know what I'm saying? But that is the context, man. Y'all about didn't confuse anybody, but you got what I was saying. And what I'm saying is that the same context? Like the example you use, is that the same context that we read when we say he's not a respecter of persons? And to me, those are two different contexts. But I don't want to go down that with that that rabbit hole, man. We'll but I just something for y'all to think about, man. Do a little homework on, just see, and we can discuss it another time. Let's look at Numbers chapter 10. So that was Jethro. Jethro, I think Jethro may mean cherish. It was cherish. Friend of God is actually Reuel. But let's look at Numbers chapter 10 and verse 29.
It's the book of Numbers, chapter 10, verse 29. And Moses said unto Hobab, the son of Reguel, the Midianite, Moses' father-in-law, he are journeying unto the place of which the Lord said, I will give it you. Come thou with us, and we will do thee good. For the Lord hath spoken good concerning Israel. And he said unto him, I will not go, but I will depart to my own land and to my kindred. And he said, leave us not, I pray thee, for as much as thou knowest how we are to encamp in the wilderness, and thou mayest be to us instead of I. And it shall be.
Shalaki, you start again and just read it a little slow. That verse 29 again. So we can really see what he's saying, what Moses is saying. Now these folks done picked up and started dwelling with Moses when they're in that wilderness. And Moses is saying, man, hey man, y'all need to, you need to come with us, man. You need to come with us to this promised land that God done promised us. Go ahead, Shalaki.
That's Numbers chapter 10, verse 29. And Moses is said unto Habab, the son of Reguel, the Midianite, Moses' father-in-law, we are journeying unto the place of which the Lord said, I will give it you. Come thou with us, and we will do thee good. For the Lord hath spoken good concerning Israel.
God, he said, come here with us, and we gonna do you good. All right, we gonna give you a piece of this thing. You gonna experience this with us. Come on with us, man. Go ahead.
And he said unto him, I will not go, but I will depart to my own land and to my kindred. And he said, leave us not, I pray thee, for as much as thou knowest how we are to encamp in the wilderness.
Shalakia. So he said, man, listen, don't leap, man. You know how to move in this wilderness, man. You know how to move out here. You could be the eyes. We need you out here. Don't leave us. All right, don't go back to you. Don't bounce yet. All right. He like, man, I'm finna go to my own people, man. I'm finna head back. I'm finna head back in, man. It was night, man. We kicking the bobo, so forth, man. And he did them well in that wilderness. Far as the Kenites, he's like, man, I'm going back to my own folks. But Moses like, nah, man, hold up for a second. Go ahead.
Saying, thou mayest be to us instead of I. And it shall be, if thou go with us, yea, it shall be that what goodness the Lord shall do unto us, the same will we do unto thee.
Wait a minute, now we know these are Gentile people. All right, he said, I just want to go back to my own people. He said, man, listen, whatever the Lord do to us, we will do to you. All right. He told us milk and honey. You gonna get some milk and honey too. All right. Just come through. All right. We need y'all here. Go ahead, up.
And it say, and they departed from the mount of the Lord 3 days' journey. And the ark of the covenant of the Lord went before them in the 3 days' journey to search out a resting place for them. And the cloud of the Lord was upon them by day, and they went out when they went out of the camp. And it came to pass when the ark set forward that Moses said, rise up, Lord, and let thine enemies be scattered, and
But
let
that's all.
them that hate thee.
Shalaki, that's all I wanted. We really was just trying to get the name, but it was some more meat in there, far as those people actually coming to that place. Let's look at Judges 4:11. We'll see Jethro again. Sometimes it'll say like that verse 29. It said Moses said unto Hobab. That was why we was reading it. He said to Hobab, the son of Raguel, all right, the Midianite, Moses' father-in-law. So we see here they was called Hobab, the son of Reuel, and it's the same it's the same concept of how Jacob was able to adopt Joseph's sons. All right, and you see a lot of times in the text, it'll say son of David, Joseph, son of David. For far as those forefathers, those patriotic forefathers, they'll have them by that name. All right, and so that Raguel, it's the same thing. All right, same thing. Hobab, and Jethro. He called by a couple of different names. Judges 4
and 11.
and 11. Con. That's all we're gonna read. 4 and 11. We getting that name again.
Now Heber the Kenite, which was of the children of Hobab, the father-in-law of Moses, had severed himself from the Kenites, and pitched his tents unto the plain of Zainim, which is by Kadesh.
Con. So we see Heber separate himself in Judges, and we're gonna come back to Judges because we're gonna talk about Yael there. We're gonna talk about Heber's wife. But we see him severing himself from the Kenites. All right, he severed himself from the Kenites. Let's look at Exodus. I think we already read that. Let's look at Judges chapter 1 and verse 16. Matter of fact, Shalakia, Exodus 18 and 11. See, I need my slides. I got dependent on them. They're gonna handicap me. Yeah, Exodus 18. Hold on. Preserved from KM. All right, man. Start at verse 1.
This is the book of Exodus, chapter 18, verse 1. When Jethro, the priest of Midian, Moses' father-in-law, heard of all that God had done for Moses and for Israel, his people, and that the Lord had brought Israel out of Egypt. Then Jethro, Moses' father-in-law, took Zephyrah, Moses' wife, after he had sent her back, and her 2 sons, of which the name of one was Gershom, for he said, I have been an alien in a strange land. And the name of the other was Eliezer, for the God of my father, said he, was my help, and delivered me from the sword of Pharaoh. And Jethro, Moses' father-in-law, came with his sons and his wife unto Moses into the wilderness, where he encamped.
Shalakia. So just to give a little context, what's happening? This is right after. I don't know if y'all familiar with when Joshua had to hold Moses, when they had to hold him and Aaron had to hold Moses' hands up while they was going into battle. This is right after that battle. Right after that battle, Jethro's coming in. He heard about how how Israel done been delivered by their God. All right, how they done been delivered by their God. Jethro comes in. He, after the war, he brings, he's bringing his wife, bringing Moses' wife with him and the kids. So they had that great reunion there. After a great battle, and then you see your wife and your kids, and that's pretty much the context. That's pretty much what we got going on right now. All right, go ahead, Doc.
Verse 6. And he said unto Moses, I thy father-in-law Jethro am coming to thee, and thy wife, and her 2 sons with her. And Moses went out to meet his father-in-law, and did obeisance and kissed him. And they asked each other of their welfare. And they came into the tent. And Moses told his father-in-law all that the Lord had done unto Pharaoh and to the Egyptians for Israel's sake, and all the travail that had come upon them by the way, and how the Lord delivered them. And Jethro rejoiced for all the goodness which the Lord had done to Israel, whom he had delivered out of the hands of the Egyptians.
Shalaki. So that, what was that word? Obeisance. Obeisance. It means to bow down, though. It means to give reverence. All right. We seen them coming in with the kids. You know how happy a man would be. You know how them soldiers come back from war, man. They see their families at the airport, standing out there, man. Ain't nothing like running to your rib and your kids, after almost losing your life. You know what I'm saying? Just having a greater appreciation for life. So he showed great reverence to Jethro, and we seen that he had great respect for him because he didn't want him to leave. He offered them pieces of the promised land. Told him, hey man, stay, help us out. Go ahead. Just wanted to clear that up, and so and the point of him hearing and saying, man, they checking on each other, seeing how everything's going. And then Moses told his father-in-law, verse 8, all that the Lord had done unto Pharaoh and to the Egyptians for Israel's sake, and the travail that had come upon them by the way, and how the Lord delivered them. Verse 9, ain't that where we at?
Verse 10.
We at verse 10.
Mm-hmm.
And Jethro rejoiced. All right, now it's a priest of Midian. Jethro is rejoicing, hearing about what the Lord had done in the deliverance. Go ahead, verse 10. Watch what he said.
Saying, Jethro said, blessed be the Lord who have delivered you out of the hand of the Egyptians.
And that's,
and
listen, he's saying, blessed be Yahweh. All right, he putting a name on it. It just say Lord in the text, but he's putting a name on it. All right, blessed be the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Like it's a distinction there, but we got the English version. So we just see but that's Yohevai. That's the tetragrammaton. He putting a name on it. This is a distinct God he's talking about, the God of Israel. Go ahead.
Who have delivered you out of the hands of the Egyptians and out of the hand of Pharaoh, who have delivered the people from under the hand of the Egyptians. Now I know that the Lord is greater than all gods, for in the thing wherein they dwelt proudly, he was above them.
And that's another reason he did the
separation,
the 10 plagues. All right, it was making mockery of these other gods that they were worshiping also. All right, it was to show his strength. All right, yeah, you can do that. You can make snakes too. Yeah, you could turn the river blood, but you can't do this though. All right, you can't kill the firstborn though. All right, you can't have these frogs everywhere though. So like the Egyptian magicians they copied like the first 3 of those plagues. And it's it even hardened Pharaoh's heart even more. But after a while, Pharaoh's like, nah, man, this even the Egyptians, they're not the magicians. They like, nah, man, this something else. And that was part of it also, to show them, hey, your gods are nothing, man. Your gods are nothing. And we see Jethro saying that the Egyptians were proud. They boasted in that thing that they had, like they might have had the best gods or whatever the case may be. Go ahead, Op.
Verse 12. And Jethro, Moses' father-in-law, took a burnt offering and sacrifices for God. And Aaron came and all the elders of Israel to eat bread with Moses' father-in-law before God. And it came to pass on the morrow that Moses sat to judge the people. And the people stood by Moses for the morning until the evening.
And
And when
Shalaki, we
Moses,
missed that verse 12. It says, and Jethro, Moses' father-in-law, took a burnt offering
hmm,
and sacrificed it for God. All right, sacrificed it to God. Now he just told you that there ain't no greater God. He just came to that realization. Hey, man, that's just proof in the pudding that there is no other God. This man is above. He is above all gods. All right, Yahweh's above all gods. He breaks bread with Moses and does a sacrifice. We read earlier that he was a priest. He was a priest in Midian. Um, go ahead.
verse 13. And it came to pass on the morrow that Moses said, 14, slack. And when Moses' father-in-law came and saw all that he did to the people, he said, what is this thing that thou doest to the people? Why sittest thou thyself alone, and all the people stand by thee from morning until evening? And Moses said unto his father-in-law, because the people come unto me to inquire of God. When they have a matter, they come unto me, and I judge between one and another. And I do make them know the statutes of God and his laws. And Moses' father-in-law said unto him, the thing that thou doest is not good. Thou wilt surely wear away both thou and this people that is with thee. For this thing is too heavy for thee. Thou art not able to perform it thyself alone. Hearken now to my voice, I will give thee counsel, and God shall be with thee. Be thou for the people to Godward, that thou mayest bring the cause unto God, and thou shalt teach them ordinances and laws, and shall show them the way wherein they must walk, and the work that they
Shalaki.
must do.
So we see Jethro now giving, letting counseling Moses, um, telling him, man, listen, man, you need to divide these folks up. You need to teach them ordinances and commandments and so forth, so you can teach the people. Um, and he's pretty much giving Moses some instructions that's gonna be beneficial. But these things don't, like, these meetings don't happen coincidental. Um, Jethro was put there. He was put in Moses' life for a reason. All right, this is all of these things are direct alignment with the Most High, man. He's aligning these things up, and so he's giving Moses the tools. And that's another thing we can take from it, man. Understanding we just following him, man. He's gonna give us the tools necessary. It's gonna be certain people that come in your life. You may have a Jethro that come in your life to give you some counseling, give you some instructions, to help you, not just even spiritually, but guide your family, get your family in order, to help you out getting a job, so forth, to keep you motivated, you know what I'm saying, help you keep your marriage, so forth. um but we see Jethro, man, being a great tool, man. We see the Kenites, these they being great tools for Israel, especially when you in the wilderness, like Moses did,
Hey,
in Israel. Go
hey,
ahead, Doc.
hey, Shalakia, and it's a problematic text for all Israel, man. It's a problematic text. When you get down to verse 10, and it says, and Jethro said, blessed be the Lord who have delivered you out of the hand of the Egyptians and out of the hand of Pharaoh, who have delivered the people from under the hands of the Egyptians. Now, no, that's the one I wanted, Shalakia. No, verse 12. It says, and Jethro, Moses' father-in-law, took a burnt offering and sacrificed for God. And Aaron came and all the elders of Israel to eat bread with Moses' father-in-law before God. And even if you understand that process, man, how was he able to give sacrifices to our God like that? Like how was that able to happen? And that's why Israel gotta like pump their brakes on who God is. You know what I mean? If you see these Kenites submit to the will of our God, and then their sacrifices and offerings will be accepted as well. Now we can get into that, but I don't want to take too much time with the brother. But I just wanted to point that out. That's a problematic text right there because Israel got to sometimes they gotta rethink their position on who the Most High is and how he pertains when it comes to these other nations. Not you.
Khan is his attributes, man. Just an understanding of how the Most High works. And just to go back to that text, just a small, like with this, this not a long class, y'all. But sometimes when I say that, do I'm being long, but Aaron pulled up. Aaron is from what? Aaron is from the high priesthood.
High priest,
Has that been established yet?
No, not yet.
It hadn't been established yet.
Right.
But they get an example. He said he didn't offer one sacrifice. It said sacrifices. He
Right.
said a burnt offering and sacrifices. And all the elders and Aaron came through there to break bread and see that thing.
Right.
To get that example. And so they'll be familiar with it when it comes to that point, when they understand when that Leviticus gets set up.
Right.
And Jethro's already telling them, hey man, you need to write these ordinances, you need to do you need to tell these people to do this. What we was at, Shalakia?
21.
21, all praise.
It say, moreover, thou shalt provide out of all the people able men, such as fear God, men of truth, hating covetousness, and place such over them to be rulers of thousands and rulers of hundreds, rulers of fifties and rulers of tens, and let them judge the people at all seasons. And it shall be that every great matter they shall bring unto thee, but every small matter they shall judge. So shall it be easier for thyself, and they shall bear the burden with thee. If thou shalt do this thing, the God command thee so, then thou shalt be able to endure, and all his people shall also go to their place in peace. So Moses hearkened unto the voice of his father-in-law, and did all that he had said. It's like, and Moses chose able men out of all Israel, and made them heads over the people, rulers of thousands, rulers of hundreds, rulers of fifties, and rulers of tens. And they judged the people at all seasons, and hard causes they brought unto Moses, but every small matter they judged themselves. And Moses let his father-in-law depart, and he went his way into his own land.
So he let his father-in-law depart. Once he gave him those instructions, he let him depart. And Jethro went on his way. Jethro about his business. Jethro said, man, I gotta get back. Gotta get back to the spot, man. Let's look at Judges chapter 1. Anybody got any questions or anything? Anything to add?
Shalakia.
Go ahead.
So what was his nationality? What was he? Some form of African?
I was gonna add that too.
Yeah. Let me share my screen. Let me see if I can pull it up for you. Like I said, I had some visuals on that thing. So we'll go through some of the look. That's the slides. Y'all see that?
Gone.
Man. Yeah, all of them gone. Can y'all see that? Well, that was Habab, means cherish. Habab. That's Yahweh. That means mountain goat. That didn't give us nothing. But just to show you, I was digging Jethro. We said that was a friend of God. Hold on, y'all. I got it in here. All right, there it is. They're Kenites, Smiths, member of the Kajian tribe. I know they were Canaanites though.
Because when I looked it up, it said they almost had. It said they almost fused themselves with the Israelites or something like that.
Yeah, you see, you went a little ahead of the lesson a little bit, but yeah, that's
Yeah.
Ah,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
They were Canaanites. All right, they were
Uh,
Canaanites. And
yeah.
hold on one second. Well, we'll see it. I think I got it in here. Can y'all see that?
Con.
You see in the
Uh,
land of Judah,
Right.
that was the portion of land they were given. All right, and this is Caleb here, but we'll talk about that another time. But this is the land that they were given right here in Negev. And it's a kind of a desert region. Ain't the best of regions, but you know,
But they
where
had
they
access to
settled.
that water though.
They near that water. They ain't, you know, they some smart folks. All right. Um, but yeah, it wasn't much that I had for the slides, just going into the names and so forth. Yeah, you know, just the names of the people. I say it's very important to understand that those names. You know, none of this stuff is coincidental. Um, where we finished up, Judge. We finished up. Let's go to
You just
Judges one
called
and yeah, Jethro went back to his spot. Shalak, you say I'm paused.
you just called Judges 1 something.
116, Con. Keep me straight.
This is the book
And
of Judges chapter 1 and verse 16. And the children of the Kenites, Moses' father-in-law, went up out of the city of palm trees with the children of Judah into the
Shalakia.
wilderness.
Now the city of palm trees is Jericho. All right, they leaving out of Jericho. All right, go ahead.
With the children of Judah into the wilderness of Judah, which lieth in the south of Arad. And they went and dwelt among the people.
They went and they dwelt among the people. All right, they went and they dwelled among the people. All right. So the Canaanites, you know, for the most part, stayed with Judah, but you know, Jethro, some of them other folks, and then we read the Judges 4:11, where we seen Heber, and we finna come back to that in a couple more precepts. Heber end up leaving and going around the I forget where we go. We'll come back to it though. We're gonna come back to it. Let me read these other two precepts. Matter of fact, now we're gonna go to it. Go to Judges 4:11. We gonna read four. We gonna read 4 through 11, 4 and 11 through 5 and 11. Um, and then we got two single shot precepts, and we out.
You want me to read that out?
you go ahead.
This is this is Judges chapter 4 and verse 11. Now Heber the Kenite, which can you turn the light on? Which was of the children of Hobab, the father-in-law of Moses, had severed himself from the Kenites and pitched his tent unto the plain of Zaanan, which is by Kadesh. And they showed Sisera that Barak, the son of Abinum, was gone up to Mount Tabor.
And
And
Shalakia,
Sisera,
just to give a little context, this is a story of Deborah in the in Judges. All right, it's the female judge in Judges. It's the story of Deborah. It could be some homework if you don't if you're not real familiar with it. Um, you can finish reading it, but we really just want Heber is the Kenite. All right, Heber the Kenite. All right, he has a wife, and we gonna deal with her wife. Go ahead.
verse 13, and Sisera gathered together all his chariots, even 900 chariots of iron, and all the people that were with him, from Horesheth of the Gentiles unto the river of Kishon. And Deborah said unto Barak, Up, for this is the day in which the Lord hath delivered Sisera unto thine hand. Is not the Lord gone out before thee? So Barak went down from Mount Tabor, and 10,000 men after him. And the Lord discomfited Sisera and all his chariots and all his hosts with the edge of the sword before Barak. So that Sisera lighted down off his chariot and fled away on his feet. But Barak pursued after the chariots and after the hosts unto Horesheth of the Gentiles, and all the host of Sisera fell upon the edge of the sword, and there was not a man left. Howbeit Sisera fled away on his feet to the tent of Jael, the wife of Heber the Kenite.
All right,
For
so
there,
Sisera done ran. He all his troops and stuff done been wiped out, man. Barak done wiped all them folks out. What Barak mean? What Barak mean in Hebrew?
I
Y'all
know
say
we
it
went
all the
over it. I
time.
just forgot.
We say it all the time. We say it every time. We say it every time we talk to each other.
Yeah, time. Bless you.
Bless you, Khan. All right. He done destroyed all them folks, man. He done killed everybody, man. And the leader fled into the tent of Yael, who is the wife of Heber, the Kenite. All right, go ahead.
For there was peace between Jabin, the king of Hazor, and the house of Heber the Kenite. And Jael went out to meet Sisera, and said unto him, Turn in, my lord, turn in to me, fear not. And when he had turned into her into the tent, she covered him with a mantle. And he said unto her, Give me, I pray thee, a little water to drink, for I am thirsty. And she opened a bottle of milk and gave him drink and covered him. And again he said unto her, Stand in the door of the tent, and it shall be with any man doeth come and inquire of thee, and say, Is there any man in here? And thou shalt say, No. Then Jael, Heber's wife, took a nail of the tent, and took a hammer in her hand, and went softly unto him, and smote the nail into his temples, and fastened it into the ground, for he was fast asleep and weary, so he died.
Mm,
Shalakia. You know,
mm,
when we read the 4:11, we know Heber severed himself and went, went and dealt in Zion, which is by Kadesh. All right, and so somehow he had some kind of alliance a little bit going on. He was moving. He might have been moving politically around these folks, man, and but some of that stuff might have rubbed on his rib, man. Which she done finessed this man to come on in. He felt safe, and then she puts a nail through his head.
mm.
But again, we see Canaanites, actually, helping Israel out again, helping Judah, helping Israel. Well, it's all Israel, but they was dwelling in Judah's land. And Judah's after these folks. Well, Barak's after these folks. Go ahead.
And behold, as Barak pursued Sisera, Jael came out to meet him, and said unto him, Come, and I will show thee the man whom thou seekest. And when he came into her tent, behold, Sisera lay dead, and the nail was in his temples.
And
He did
imagine
both
that.
temples.
Imagine, Barak probably done slaughtered 100 jokers, blood all on his sword chasing after him. And then his sister come out, hey man, the one you looking for, man. I got him in here. Let me show him to you. And
Mm.
she show you this joker laid out with a nail in his head. Go ahead.
A couple nails. It says temples.
Mm.
So she hit him from both sides.
It went straight through.
I
It caught
Man,
can't.
me
she
from yeah, gone.
yeah, man, that thing went straight through and pinned him down.
Hey, so like y'all, when you read the story, when you go to Google and look her up, it says she hit the nail so hard that it went
Hey,
through him,
Shalak.
went into the ground like the scripture said. Yeah, knelt into the
Wow.
ground. She hit him
Knelt
so
into the
hard.
ground. Right, man.
Mhm.
Verse 23. So God subdued on that day Jabin, the king of Canaan, before the children of Israel. And the hand of the children of Israel prospered and prevailed against Jabin, the king of Canaan. until they had destroyed Jabin, king of Canaan. Then sang Deborah and Barak, the son of Abinoam, on that day, saying, Praise ye the Lord for the avenging of Israel, when the people willingly offered themselves.
Now, Shalakia, what are they doing right now?
They celebrated.
They celebrating, they singing. This is a song. We reading them singing a song. All
Mm.
right. So we reading them singing a song. And a lot of times, we overlook those things and then we thinking that, it's people having certain but we reading an actual song. All right. They verse 1, they singing they then sang Deborah and Barak, the son of Abinoam, on that day saying. And this is what we reading what they're saying while they're singing. Go ahead.
Praise ye the Lord for the avenging of Israel, when the people willingly offered themselves. Hear, O ye kings, give ear, O ye princes. I, even I, will sing unto the Lord. I will sing praise to the Lord God of Israel. Lord, when thou wentest out of Seir, when thou marchest out of the field of Edom, the earth trembled, and the heavens dropped. The clouds also dropped water. The mountains melted from before the Lord, even that Sinai from before the Lord God of Israel. In the days of Shamgar, the son of Anath, in the days of Jael, the highways were unoccupied, and the travelers walked through byways. The inhabitants of the villages ceased. They ceased in Israel until that I, Deborah, arose. That I arose a mother in Israel. They chose new gods. Then was war in the gates. Was there a shield or a spear seen among 40,000 in Israel? My heart is toward the governors of Israel, the that offered themselves willingly among the people. Bless ye the Lord. Speak ye that ride on the white asses, ye that sit in judgment and walk by the way. They that are delivered from the noise of archers, in the places of drawing waters, there shall they rehearse the righteous acts of the Lord, even the righteous acts toward the inhabitants of his villages in Israel. Then shall the people of the Lord go down to
And,
the gates.
and Shalaki, we read that. I'm gonna let y'all go back over it, but we use this a lot. The Judges 5:11, we use it a lot. But we understand. Just I want you to just go back over it. We'll talk about it another time. And see if that really fits and understand the place of drawing water. What did they do at the place of drawing water?
They should
All
pick
right.
their wives.
They what? They pick
They
their
should look
wife.
look for a rib.
They can look for a rib, but if they looking for a rib, what they doing? What they got to do to get the rib?
Oh, they got to work. They got to pay.
They got to pay, but they got to talk. They got to chop it up. All right,
Oh, time.
yeah. They chopping it up at the water holes. They kicking the bobo. They talking about what happened. Um, and that's what we talking about with the rehearsing. Is the rehearsing them reenacting, or is the rehearsing them remembering and telling each other those righteous acts at the watering hole where they'll draw water? Because this is all the song is about. They just recalling what they just did, how they was delivered out of Canaan, how they put down the old gods. They put down those new gods. And how Deborah is so wonderful and the mother of Israel and so forth. They'll sing these songs, but again, we can look at it. Want us to look at it and read over that thing, and then we'll talk about it another time. All right, go ahead.
Keep going. Verse 12.
Yeah, Con. We gonna read down to verse 24. This the last precept.
Time. Verse 12. Awake, awake, Deborah. Awake, awake. Utter a song. Arise, Barak. and lead thy captivity captive, thou son of Abinom. Then he made him that remaineth have dominion over the nobles among the people.
And see, that's a song. You see, we still singing. Awake, awake, Deborah, awake, awake. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
we still in song. Go ahead.
it's just a weird song because don't none of this rhyme.
But
You
see,
know,
they might didn't have to have them rhyming like that.
right?
But it may rhyme in Hebrew. You know,
That's
That's
true.
right. That's right.
The
you know
Lord
that
made me have.
Psalms that Psalms 119, you know how it has, if you go look at it, it says Aleph, Beth, it has the alphabets all the way down it. Each one of those stanzas, in the stanza of Aleph, each one of those lines starts with the Aleph.
God.
In Beth, each one of those lines start with Beth. But we can't, if we in English, it don't mean nothing. But when you see it in Hebrew, then that's why that's there in that Psalms 119. I think it's like the longest songs. But again, these are songs, you know. So they play with the word play, because you know how complicated it is just to make every line start with the same alphabet.
Right.
um you trying to really be advanced, man. You know what I'm saying? But we were musicians. David playing the harp and casting out spirits out of salt. That's why I be telling, man, we missing that praise and worship, man. I started to line something up. Them slides when it died on me, man. I wouldn't be fight with them slides. I might have lined something up at the end of this. But
Verse
jokers don't know. Go ahead, Shalak, go ahead.
verse 13. Then he made him that remaineth have dominion over the nobles among the people. The Lord made me have dominion over the mighty. Out of Ephraim was there a root of them against Amalek.
And
After
Shalakia,
thee,
Shalaki,
Shalaki.
drop down. We ain't got to read the whole thing, man. Drop down to 23.
Verse 23. Curse ye Meroz, said the angel of the Lord. Curse ye bitterly the inhabitants thereof, because they came not to the help of the Lord, to the help of the Lord against the mighty. Blessed above women shall Jael, the wife of Eber, the Kenite be. Blessed shall she be above women in the tent.
Now hold on.
He,
Now you talking about Heber, the woman who put the Canaanite woman that put the nail through his head, said, "Blessed shall this woman be above all women that are in the tent." All right, they singing this song, and so this is this ain't to say, okay, well, she the most blessed. This is the song, and just how Israel, just to see the character of our people, and the people that helped them. Like, it's not they singing, but what that woman did for them, they remembered her for that. They remembered her for that, man. They cheered her for that. They didn't just say, "Oh well, she just did it because the Lord telling her to do it, man." And we in our captivity, and the Lord making them do it. You know, they don't have that attitude. It's a different attitude that we have, and that's what this lesson is about. Just seeing the attitude of the Most High to these Gentile nations, and how Israel, Moses, like, man, come on, man, come on with us, man. Come on with us, man. If some people just went through it, a lot of them Gentiles in the wilderness, they went through the same captivity. They was laying the bricks right along next to you. You know what I'm saying? So they didn't have that same attitude that we have, coming out of the transatlantic slave trade. You know what I'm saying? And those who did, and if those who did and suffered it, we have a different attitude towards those people, man. But this is just to show that the character that Israel had dealing with these folks, dealing with these other nations, that helped them. And I had brought it out earlier, man, about blessing those who bless you, as and cursing those who curse you, curse Israel, curse Abraham, or curse Israel rather. Where we was at? We're gonna read one or two more of those verses, and then we're gonna read the last two precepts. Go ahead.
verse 25. He asked water, and she gave him milk. She brought forth butter in a lordly dish. She put her hand to the nail and her right hand to the workman's helmet, and with the hammer she smote Sisera. She smote off his head. When she had, that's a heck of a song, that boy. She smote.
And what they doing when they singing the song? What are they singing it and they remembering it,
And
right?
paying homage to her.
And paying homage. These songs will go through generations, and we gonna
Uh,
see that these things are gonna be remembered through generations. Um, but this is again, this singing can be a rehearsing of the acts. All right, that's what I was trying to, come at an angle that way. But again, we'll talk about it. Um,
she
Go
smote
ahead,
off
Al.
his head when she had pierced and stricken through his temples. At her feet he bowed. He fell. He lay down. At her feet he bowed. He fell. Where he bowed, there he fell down dead.
Yeah, I can see them singing that. I can see
I
them
can see
singing.
that.
So again, and they playing the whole thing out. They weren't there. Whoever, well, this is Deborah and Barack singing. So Barack pulled up, but they don't know the exact detail. They probably putting a little juice on it. Whatever the case may be, it's a song, y'all. It's a song. Let's look at 1 Samuel 27 and 10 and 1 Samuel 15. Well, let's start at 1 Samuel 15, 6, and then we'll look at 27 and 10, and then if anybody has anything else to add, we can chop it up or build on any other point that was brought out. And that's it, y'all.
It's the book of 1 Samuel, chapter 15, verse 6. And Saul said unto the Kenites, Go, depart, get you down from among the Amalekites, lest I destroy you with them. For ye showed kindness to all the children of Israel when they came up out of Egypt. So the Kenites departed from among the Amalekites.
So we see Saul about to go in and put judgment on the Amalekites, all right? And put judgment on the Amalekites. And the Kenites are over there. You got Kenites over there too. And so Saul tell them, listen, get out the city, or I'm gonna kill y'all too. I'm giving you warning though, because you show love in the wilderness, man. The people love you, man. We dealt with it. We got some history. So go ahead, get on up out of there so we can wipe these folks out. All right. So we see Saul again, a little later. It's not that far from Judges. You know what I'm saying? Right after Judges, we see you come in, you get Saul, get Samuel, and then you get Saul being elected king. But the history still being passed down. And so again, we seen the map with these folks, and Ak had seen some stuff where these folks pretty much dwelt in the rest of Israel, pretty much almost kind of they was in Judah, man. You know what I'm saying? They had that portion there in Judah. Matter of fact, I don't even think we need the 1 Samuel 27. This 1 Samuel 27 goes into when David was, playing on the other side, running from Saul. And he wasn't playing on the other side, but he was pretending like he was and saying that he went out there and he was finna kill the Judites and the Jeremites and the Kenites. We don't really need that. We can close out with the 15:6. Just seeing that we seen Saul give warning to these people, to get out of the city, waited for them to get out of the city, and then kill the Amalekites. All right, so those are the Kenites. So when you see them in the text, you'll understand, and you'll understand that relationship, and understand a little more of the Most High's character, man, some of his attributes, and how Israel kind of viewed those things, man, and the attitudes that they had, especially towards people that looked out. You know what I'm saying? With that, I yield. Though, if anybody has anything to add, any questions?
Yeah. And what we just got to understand is the Most High, he's a God of mercy. So when you understand that God's mercy is inevitable to all that work to serve him. You know what I mean? I know we go into he's our God and nothing else. But what happened when these other nations cleave to Israel? Then he also becomes their God. You know what I mean? And you see that throughout the text. Long as he made a covenant with Israel, but long as these nations start following the ways of the Most High, he also become their God. Let me get a couple of precepts, brothers. Let me get that Judges 14. I'm not sure I can Judges, but Jeremiah 14 and 12. Jeremiah 14 and verse 12.
It's the book of Jeremiah, chapter 14, verse 12. When they fast, I will not hear their cry. And
Shalakia.
when they
Shalakia. Jeremiah 12 and 14, my bad. 12 and 14. Called the wrong precept.
Jeremiah chapter 12, verse 14.
Okay.
Thus said the Lord against all my evil neighbors that touch the inheritance which I have caused my people Israel to inherit. Behold, I will pluck them out of their land and pluck out the house of Judah from among them. And it shall come to pass after that I have plucked them out, I will return and have compassion on them and will bring them again, every man to his heritage and every man to his land. And it shall come to pass, if they will diligently learn the ways of my people, to swear by my name, the Lord liveth, as they taught my people to swear by Baal. Then shall they be built in the midst of my people. But if they will not obey, I will utterly pluck up and destroy that nation, said the Lord. Selah.
Chill out, man. So here we see that the Most High is saying, and this it's an end time prophecy. He said, I pull Israel out. He says, I'll return to all my evil neighbors, man. And when I return to them, if they learn the ways of my people, then he said, and then what I give them their inheritance. And that's like the brother just showed the Kenites. Their inheritance was right under Judah. That's where they land. That's the land they was dwelling in, man. And one more precept. Give me that in Isaiah real quick. Isaiah 56 and verse 12. Isaiah 56 and I think it's verse 12. Let me see right quick. So I can grab it before you see if I pull the right precept, man. Let's see. Hold on. Okay, yeah. Let's start at verse 6. Isaiah 56 and 6.
It's the book of Isaiah, chapter 56, verse 6.
Mm.
Also the sons of the stranger that join themselves to the Lord to serve him, and to love the name of the Lord, to be his servants, every one that keepeth the Sabbath from polluting it, and taketh hold of my covenant. Even them will I bring to my holy mountain, and make them joyful in my house of prayer. Their burnt offerings and their sacrifices shall be accepted upon mine altar. For mine house shall be called an house of prayer for all people.
And see, we seen that with Jethro, man. When you go into Exodus 18, you seen Jethro come sacrificing to our God, and it was acceptable, right? I don't heard brothers say them strangers talk about the northern kingdom, but if you read it in context, it says also the sons of the strangers that join themselves to the Lord to serve him and to love the name of the Lord to be his servant. Well, Israel already God's servant, right? Israel is already in the place of being, he gave us that in the wilderness, right? Whether brothers want to accept it or not, you are servants of the Lord. Your job is to do the work of the Most High God. So that's not referring to you. That's referring to these strangers that gon' cleave to the Lord, man. And we should be fine with that if we really want to do what thus says the Lord. Whatever God say goes, right? And we should be fine with that, man. Great lesson, brother. And I just want to bring a couple precepts, man.
All praises, man. That was an excellent precept, man. That pretty much summed it up. That Jeremiah, man. That Jeremiah 12. Like you say, the text has it has foreshadows, types and foreshadows. And if you want to know how the end, what I'm saying, you want to know what the end looks like, it's gonna look like it's gonna look like the wilderness. It's gonna be more, more profound. You know what I'm saying? It has those same stages in it. You're gonna go through another wilderness, you're gonna go back into um and then you go into the promised land, so forth. And so this, like I was bringing out, that was, he was reading kingdom connotation. But these things, we see these things then happen, not on a great scale like it will be later, but we do see little spurts of these things happen. We see the Rahabs, we see the Jethros, um and the Naamans, the leper who leper Gentile who played a role. And so you see these things, you see these types, these foreshadows, man. And again, these things are gonna help you, and then it'll seal you. It'll seal that thought for you. Like, what? That's what it looks like. You want to know what it looks like? It's already happened, and it's just gonna be on a more profound level, man. That Jeremiah 12. What was that? Yeah, 12. 6
Nah, 12
or
and
14,
14.
12, 14. Yeah.
Uh,
That sealed it up. I had to add that to my notes. I may put them slides back together, but it'll be a while. It'll be a while before I go back in doing that again. But all praise, man. Anybody had anything else? No, we'll go ahead and close out, man. Appreciate y'all watching, man. Make sure y'all like, subscribe. Friday will be on Bring It Out TV. Make sure y'all get over there, like, subscribe, man. Until we meet again. You know what I'm saying? Make sure y'all study up, man. Read over the text, meditate on the word. Shalom, everyone.
Shalom.
Shalom.
Shalom.